In this video, I'm going to take you through the business model at Real, specifically the way in which you can grow together as partners, not just in your business's growth, but in other people's businesses' growth and as the company grows as well. Hey, my name is Sharan Srivatsa. I serve as the president of Real, and I'm going to break down for you the growth component, the growth opportunities that exist and are built into the very fabric of the economic and business model at Real. I'm going to take each of the pieces and break them down step by step so you have a pretty granular understanding of it, not only for you and your family, but also for the team, if you have a team or for their attraction purposes. So please let me break down the business model at Real, specifically around the growth model. So before I actually do that, let me zoom out and tell you about the three big pieces when it comes to the business model at Real. There is a build component, there is a grow component, and there is a legacy component. I want to take a minute to actually explain what each of these components are. The first part of the build component is how do we actually provide an environment so year after year you have the ability to grow your business, your sales, production business. And the way we do this is we have, number one, you get low splits, which are governed by caps and has a team-based model, all with no monthly fees. This allows you as a business owner and entrepreneur to plan well and model well as to how you want to design a great business model for you and your team in your market. The second, in the grow component, is all the agents that I talk to want to benefit and participate in the growth of the company that they're partners in and they are building together. The growth has three big pieces to the puzzle. The first is what happens when you grow. What happens when you get to build and grow your business? Second is what happens when others at Real, that you get to cheer them on when they get to build and grow the business. And the third is what happens when Real actually continues to invest its money and resources to create new initiatives to support you so we can build and grow the business. Well, how do you benefit from that? And so you're not just stuck in this silo of only having revenue if your team does well, which is very common to most brokerages in the world. And the way we do that is through our publicly traded stock under the ticker R.E.A.H. So as we grow and all these functions happen, you will see a growth in stock. And based on various ways to earn that stock allows us to capture this level of growth. And that is exactly what I'm going to tell you about in detail in this video. But before I jump into that, let me tell you about the legacy component. We know that a career-minded agent will do extremely well in this business, but we also know that there is no exit. There is no exit because if we stop selling real estate, then the music stops. So we've tried to figure out this one thing, which is how can we build a great company together today so that the company can take care of your family tomorrow? And I'll cover that in the legacy video. But this video is entirely centered around the growth component of how your business growth, other people's businesses growth that we can cheer on, and Real's growth overall can benefit you as we give you great partnership opportunities in the stock. So let's get right into that right now. So I want to talk about growing at Real. I'm going to take you through each of the pieces overall. The first is what we call the stock purchase plan, or the SPP. If you've had a chance to either know people or have worked at a different company like a Fortune 500 like a Google or Microsoft, there is a component of what we call a stock purchase plan. You get to actually use your income, maybe your paycheck, etc., to purchase stock of the company, and the company actually benefits and rewards you for doing that. And Real does the same thing. It's a very attractive plan, and I'll tell you exactly how that works. Before you cap, so for example, I'm going to take an agent, Sharan, with a $12,000 cap. Before you cap, you can actually assign 5% of your commissions to be just paid out in stock. So if you got a $100 commission check, you can assign $5 of that to automatically get paid out in stock. And Real actually does this process completely seamlessly on the back end for you. Now, after you cap and you've gone to a 100% split, you can still contribute up to 10% of your commission to be paid out in stock. Now you may say, well, Sharon, why is this interesting to me? Well, it's interesting because one, you get to, as you generate the revenue with the firm, you are helping the firm grow. And while you do that, now you get to take a small portion of it to participate in that growth. In fact, there's two other components to this. While you do this, Real is actually providing you a bonus. So if you choose to do this, Real will actually buy 15% of the stock component and actually award that to you as a bonus. That is a stock award. We recognize the fact that you are contributing to the growth of the business, and we want to give you a stock award to participate in this plan because we believe that that further aligns us as partners. Additionally, if there are post-cap dollars that you utilize in this scenario, now we pay you 30% in the bonus. And let me explain exactly how that works. Let's say you buy 100 shares based on this. And these shares are subject to a 1-year waiting period. Very normal and everything. So you get the possession of the shares, and since you get to buy them to the stock purchase plan, there's a 1-year waiting period, but they are your shares. At the end of that year, at the 12-month mark, Real will automatically deposit another 30 shares into your account, just as the bonus, which is amazing because now you get this 30 extra shares not only as a bonus, and in some situations it is a insane bonus, and the other situations it's a hedge. The great part about this is it's not just $30, but it's 30 shares. So as the price of the stock improves, you automatically benefit from the raw share units overall. Many of our agents around the Real community utilize the stock purchase plan, and I want you to consider that as well. If you have not taken a look at this, please consider taking a peek at this. You can also opt out of it in a given calendar year period, so that way it's not at any cost to the agent, and it is also not mandatory. This is an option with our ability to grow together overall. That is the stock purchase plan component. The second is the capping and attracting awards, and please let me take you through those very quickly. The capping and attracting awards essentially say that as soon as you hit your $12,000 cap, you are now helping generate revenue for the company, and the company recognizes you and wants to thank you for capping. This happens every single anniversary year, so this happens every single year. And as soon as you do this, you get awarded capping shares. Capping shares are a set amount of shares that are awarded to you as a grant for capping and hitting the cap at Real. It's our way of saying thank you, right? Now, when we say thank you, that is again part of the growth. If for team members on the 6K cap, they still get the capping shares as well, but it's just 1/2 of what you would get otherwise, which is great. Now there's the attracting component, which I think is powerful too. And the attracting component basically says that if I, Sharon, spend some time attracting Jenny to come to Real, as soon as Jenny is productive and starts contributing, I, Sharon, get a one-time attracting share bonus. I say, because I, Sharon, helped Jenny come to the firm. I, Sharon, supported in the growth of the firm. So I, Sharon, now benefit from Jenny being here. And so I'm given a gift of award of shares to come over. And it's similar for those coming in at a 6K cap as well. Both these attracting shares are based on what the agent comes in on. So if Jenny comes in on a 12K cap, I would get 125 shares. But if Jenny comes in on a 6K cap, I would get 60 shares. So this is our way of thanking you and rewarding you for the growth. None of these have any out-of-pocket expenses from you. It is our way of awarding you shares so that we can all grow together, especially given that we are publicly traded and you have direct visibility into the growth of the company. All right, let's get the next thing. Oops. This is one of my favorite things where going to the heart of being partners in a production-based business model. There's multiple ways to do this, but all of this is based around what we call the Elite Agent Awards. And this slide, you're only eligible for these awards if you complete the Elite Agent qualification. So what is the Elite Agent qualification? Let me take you through that right now. So as soon as you have completed a 12K cap, you instantly go to 100% split. So there's no more percentage-based capping dollars due to Real. But there is still this $285 fee, post-cap fee, that we charge on a per transaction basis. As soon as your $285 transaction fees equal 6K, you've achieved what we call elite status. And elite status gives you access to something pretty amazing, which is $16,000 in stock as a stock award. We call that our performance award. And we say, hey, not only did you cap, but you also paid $6,000 in post-cap transaction fees. And so we're going to turn around and award you $16,000 worth of stock. Pretty amazing. If that's option one, we also have option two, where, and this is an or, where in certain markets where the sales prices are much higher, if you can still do the post cap, get the cap, but after the cap, if your GCI is greater than $500,000 and you have completed 10 transactions with sales price over $1 million, just to account for the high end market in certain markets, that also qualifies you to get the elite status and receive the $16,000 in stock awards. The great part here is there is another option as well for you. The option is there is what we call a cultural award. Once you hit elite, it unlocks another cultural award component where you can either teach monthly or give back to the community. Teaching monthly involves in R.E.A.C.H Academy for you to actually be pre-approved to teach a course or some kind of curriculum for a 12-month period. Many agents do it on a weekly basis, some agents do it on 2 times a month, and some agents do it at least once monthly. If you do that at least monthly and it's approved, have an approved slot, and you get to teach and give back to the community, you get a cultural award of $8,000 at the end of the year. Some agents choose to not do that, but actually work in their communities and give back to their communities. Several agents have a charitable contribution plan where they actually work or volunteer at a local shelter. They give a certain amount of their commissions back to a local charity. When we do this, R.E.A.C.H wants to recognize you and support you with that. So for all pre-approved giving back initiatives, you get another $8,000 in stock. This is our way of saying, hey, as the company grows, not only do we reward you, but for your contribution back to the company and your community, we want to reward you. There's almost no company in the world that does that. And this goes to our commitment of actually helping us grow as partners together. This is entirely part of the 8 ways to make money at R.E.A.C.H. And this goes to multiple ways to grow, which is the pre-cap bonus, the post-cap bonus, and the stock awards for capping. It also involves the involvement of the Elite Agent Award and the Elite Cultural Award and the attraction shares. Very powerful grow component in our ways of the 8 ways to make money at R.E.A.C.H. This goes to the very heart of us being partners and having a growth-based business model where the company just doesn't participate. We are all part of this journey together, and we get to participate as partners.